Hey, good morning, guys. This is Caron with Sweet Signature Stampin' Creation. And today we are getting ready to do a little Copic coloring for you guys today. Today I'm going to focus on working on hair and skin. For those of you that know me know that hair is my nemesis. I'm typically afraid of it, so I just avoid it. And we all know that the best way to conquer your fear of anything, most things, is to really just sit and do this. So before we get started, I'll tell you about this little image. This image is Brittany Gives Thanks, and it's from Stamp Anything. That's the name of the company that made the image. And if you are a member of the Kitten Clouder Facebook group, this is a free image. And we have up until the end of November to submit our entries. It's a coloring event to see how many awesome combinations and things we can do with Brittany. So with that, let's get started. I'll leave all the information to the Kitten Clouder link as well as to Stamp Anything. So we're going to start with the face. I always start with the face. And my normal skin tone with face is I go light because I'm afraid of darker colors. But of course, as you can see from my own skin, I'm a little darker. So I need to figure out how to color these images. On my Pinterest board, I follow Jennifer Dove, and she has all sorts of awesome combinations for to coloring. So today, this is for a medium skin tone, E11. E13 and E15. Those are the colors I'm going to use to achieve my darker skin tone today. When I color, I start always with the lighter color, and the lighter color for us today is the E11. So again, and we do this in stages. And when I say in stages, I mean, I don't color the whole body and then come back. I do like the face first, and then I move on to other areas of her body. So I lay down a layer of light color all over, and the lighter color again is E11, and it's called Barely Beige. And I lay that color down all over her face. Now, you can use flicks, but because I'm just laying down a base color, I just color the image in larger strokes. Now, I'm pretty sure that I probably shouldn't be doing that because, as you can see when you do the brush marks, they look like they're all going in different directions. So for consistency's sake, I probably should be using one motion in one direction. I also pulled down a second layer, which I probably should not have done because, of course, it's darker. But anyway, that is what I did this time, and there you have it. Now, the next color we're going to come in with, we're going to add our shadows with our darker color, E15. Now, the thing to look at this, now I haven't set the direction of my sunshine, my light source. So I'm going to say the light is coming in from my right this way. So given that, of course, that means where the light is, it's lighter, and away from the light, it's darker. Make sense? But in addition to those types of things, where your hair is, you can see, you make the assumption that there is some sort of shadow that's cast from there. So anywhere that is the hair, we are going to add a little bit of highlighting cast shadow under here. We're also going to cast shadow over there. And again, it's purely subjective. This is what I see. And of course, on the face, there should be some shadowing here and some shadowing here. So that's what I see as far as shadowing is concerned. Also going to assume there's a little bit of a shadow here and a little bit at the end of her corners of her mouth. Okay, that's what I see. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back in with our medium tone, which is light suntan E13. And we're going to try to just smooth the harsh lines caused by the darker E15. And to do that, we kind of just start in them and pull the color in until the lines are not as harsh. And once you have the lines that's not harsh, then you can go ahead and pull the E13 further into her skin, into her face. Now I'm not using the actual tip of my marker. I'm going on the side to bring that color in. Now we have here, from the corners of her mouth, we're just going to pull out. I found that with a lot of my coloring, I seem to, at the finished product, I have some splotches, what I'm going to call splotches. And so for me, there's something I'm not doing in my, and then you come back in with the 111 and you blend out as well. And again, when you're blending, you should just start from the previous color, and it's softening that line so it just doesn't look as harsh. And that's her face. And she's a little bit darker. Now, it doesn't look as splashy to me, or splotchy to me, in this combination, but we'll see at the end. So we're done with her face, and the next thing we do, we'll go under her neck. Now, because that's such a tiny area, I'm going to actually just do maybe 2 colors. I won't do the 3 colors, because blending for me in smaller spaces is a little bit challenging for me. So just a highlight there with the darker, and then blend it out with the E11. There you go. So we've done her face and her neck. The next thing we're going to do is her arms. Again, starting with the E11, barely beige. You lay down a base of color. And in this one, I'm going to do both of her arms just because it's such a smaller piece. And then lay down my cast shadow. Now, thinking through this logically, again, under her shirt, where her shirt divides, there should be a little bit of a shadow here and right here. And then for that, we're going to lay down a bit of shadow here and blend backwards. E13 is next. Our E13 is our light suntan. And we are going to blend that, soften that out. And then continue softening using the E11. For me, I see it in the crook of her arm. I need to add a little bit more definition. So I went back in with the E15 just to add that little bit of definition. Back to here, the E13, and then blend it out with the E11. And there you have her arms. Next thing is her legs. Again, lay down a base of color with your lightest color. Again, because it's such a smaller area, I'm going to do both at once. I'm going to lay down some cast shadow. And as you can, for me, the shadows are, obviously the skirt is hiding, or not hiding, but it's casting a shadow. And because it's such a smaller area, I'm going to hold my pen, my marker, a little bit higher. Again, the crook of her leg is probably where I'm going to cast some shadow. And then above the sock. Again, because of the narrow, the minimal space, you don't have to add a third color. I'm going to add just a little bit and then blend it all out with the E11. There you go. She's all colored except for her eyes, right? So isn't Brittany looking beautiful as it already? I love Miss Brittany. So again, the colors I used to get a medium skin tone for Miss Brittany is E11, E13, and E15. Moving on to the hair. Again, going from Jennifer's coloring guide. I'm using a mixture of Copic Chows and my sketch markers. One, because those are the way that I have the colors. And the colors recommended for these were E35, E08, and R59. Now, I don't have E35, but what I do have is E33. Why do I think that will make a good combination? I don't know. Well, I'll tell you why. What I learned about Copics is that there's a family 0, I think it's triple, all the zeros to 3 are all kind of in the same grouping, and then from 3 to 6 and 6 to 9. So because it was E35 is the required, the 3 is in that wheelhouse, and therefore I think it will make a complementary match. But what we can do though is we can lay it all out and see if we like the combination. Also tells us which is our dark, medium, and light shadows or colors. So you see, I think that'll kind of be good. If not, we'll just start over and see what Brittany looks like. So the one of the instructions that I did with doing hair, I watched a YouTube video, and I can't remember who did it. Who did it, is to take it in sections. Now, in your mind, you have to visualize what you think is hair. I've seen Brittany colored where this part that looks like a cape in the back, some folks have left it as a cape and colored it differently, and some folks have seen it as hair and colored that as hair as well. So again, it's what you see in your image, how you will color. Now, the instructions that I had, the video that I watched said really you should take things in parts and in sections. So obviously coming out from the crown, so it's more like a V, inverted V. So we're going to start flicking with the point because it's narrow. And we don't have to make all of it even, but of course we're going to follow the shape of the hair. We leave a little space in the middle, primarily to show where her highlights will be in her hair. Okay, and we'll come in with the mid-tone, which is E08. Again, coming through, adding flicks from the base. Again, not trying to cover up what you previously laid down, but accenting it. Leaving a little bit of color. Or a little bit of highlight. Up next color is the R59. Sorry, I have to concentrate a little bit. You remember I told you my hair is my nemesis, so I really have to concentrate a little bit on the hair. Now, the amount of white space that you leave will account for the highlighting. So this is what our hair is going to look like, and I'm going to do that all throughout her hair. I'm going to do it in sections. Coming from the bottom up, you flick upwards, and coming from the top, you flick downwards to a meeting point someplace in the middle. Of course, you'll go back through and add a little more of color, whatever you see that you need to do. All right, and please don't feel it. You need to shift your paper to get the image or the depth that you need to get, or the angle that you need to get to in order to properly color the hair. Starting with our lighter, moving on to our next darker color. And then coming in with the darker color. Sorry, but my hand and my head is probably going to be in your way. So I'm probably going to speed this up. Now, the other thing you can do to add, so you can see which tresses are in front, which are in back, is the piece that's behind, using your darker color, is make sure you have a solid line there. And then that way you can see depth and dimension in her hair. Because again, the piece that's in front should be casting a shadow. Do you see how that popped a little bit when I just added that extra piece right there? There you go. So we'll continue to do this until we finish her hair. Okay, so here you go. I'm finally putting the finishing touches on her hair. Now again, depending upon what you see, this piece right here, you can see as part of her hair, or you can see as part of her cape or her cloak that she's wearing. So it all depends on what you see. Oh, I forgot. See, now that I've colored, I see that I missed this area right here. So I'm just going to go back in with the same process and procedure, lay down a base of flicks with the lighter color, come in with your mid-tone, and then your darker shade. So there you have it, folks. Today's class was focusing on her hair and on her skin. And here you have it. Brittany gives thanks. I haven't figured out what color yet. I'm doing her clothing, which is pretty much why I'm going to stop here. But I'll let you know what I'm going to do with her hair, and I'll come back and I'll show you the final image. Thank you guys for watching. This is Copic for the non-artist or the non-colorist, and hope you enjoy the video.